Bonjour. Part of your activities this week is an activity called structure notes. When I refer to structures, I'm talking about little phrases, not quite vocabulary words necessarily, but phrases, so groups of words that I expect you to be understanding and internalizing through the stories that we do. So we're actually going to start with closet space since it was the most recent, and then later this week I'm going to have you do these types of notes for the talking tiger story and the singing frog story so that you can do some review of those structures. So for the closet space story, as you will see if you go to slide number 9 for this week, the structures that we're looking at and that I want you to really understand and get to know through this story are il voit, il met, or il met, and then il va vers. Now, those are all things that we have actions for because obviously I just showed them to you and we've been looking at them with those actions for a while now. But I want you to know what they mean in English. I want you to be able to use them in, for example, your quick writes or any writing that you do for any other part of this class. So we're going to do this thing called structure notes, and I'm going to show you how to do the first one, il voit, and then I'm going to have you do the other two on your own, and later this week, like I said, you'll be doing these types of notes for a few other structures. So I'm going to take my cahier. If this is my cahier, I'm going to open it up. My first couple pages should be my mot de passe, passwords. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that leaves me about right here. Then I have, I don't know, 20 or so pages for my quick writes. Just a good chunk. And my stories are starting from the back going forward. So this space in the middle, as we've talked about before, is just for like other class notes. So this is where we're going to start, wherever the next clean page is in your class notes section. You need a whole page for it, and we're going to make, and I'll show you in a sec, we're going to make a line down the middle vertically and a line across the middle horizontally. So you end up with 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, I'm going to write the structure itself. So we're going to start with il voit. Il voit. Now, il voit, we've learned la classe voit. We have this motion that goes with it. So hopefully that leads you to remember that it means, in this case, he sees. So in the next quadrant, we're going to write the English translation. Il voit, he sees. Now, we can use that with la classe voit, the class sees. We can use it with elle voit, like she sees. In this case, we're just going to use il just to get us started, but we can use it in different ways too. So after that, we're going to negate it. And as you might recall, when we negate something in French, we put ne and pas around the verb, around the action word. So in this case, the action is sees. So we're going to write il ne voit pas. Il ne voit pas. That's N-E. Il ne voit pas. So we have il voit, he sees, il ne voit pas. And then in this last box, we are going to choose a sentence from the story, and we are going to put it into this last box, and we're going to put it with a picture. So if I'm looking at my closet space, write and discuss, I might see the sentence, il voit deux poupées effrayantes. Now, I'm changing this a little bit because in the actual story, it would be elle voit because our main character in Closet Space is a woman. Here, we're saying il voit deux poupées effrayantes. So instead of she sees something, he sees 2 scary dolls. And so I will do my best to draw il make him with really big eyes and kind of a scared mouth there. I don't know if you can see it. And then I will make my deux poupées effrayantes. Should be pretty easy, but really, not being an artist, it's kind of hard to decide what qualities will make it effrayant, but there you go. Il voit deux poupées effrayantes. Now, I could do more here to make it clear that what I'm showing is he sees, il voit. However, I have it up here, so that's not absolutely necessary. But if you're an artist and want to add more detail, that's something that you can do. I'm sorry this is not super visible because of the lighting in here, but I think you get the idea. There we go. Okay, so first quadrant, the structure itself, il voit in this case. Second quadrant, in English, he sees. Next quadrant, we negate it, il ne voit pas, he doesn't see. And then the last one, we find a sentence from the story that includes the structure. So, il voit deux poupées effrayantes is one example of that, and then we draw it. Okay, so this is what I mean by structure notes. So for the other two, for closet space, like I said, if you go to slide 9, for this week we see il voit is the first one. I've basically done that for you, you just need to copy this. Then il met, il va vers. So you're going to take the back of this page and make your quadrants for il met. Then this page you'll do il va vers. And in fact, at the beginning, at the very top, go ahead and write closet space. And that way you'll know that that's where these structures are coming from. And when we later on do some structures from those other stories later this week, you'll do the same thing, and then you'll kind of keep them organized that way. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Au revoir.